still setting up the YouTube live stream, and it's not quite 2 o'clock, so give me just another minute, please. Okay, it is 2 o'clock. We are on the record. We are live streaming on YouTube. Before I begin speaking to the folks who are on the docket, just an explanation to everyone. We do have a mix, a pretty good mix today of 24s and 215. And we've got these folks in 2 different locations over at NJC. And so what we will be doing is actually jumping back and forth from one docket to the other based on the room they're in at the jail. So in other words, we'll do all of the folks for 24s in this location, followed by all of the folks on the 215 docket in this location, and then we'll switch to the other location. My apologies. I appreciate it. Okay, so to those of you who are in 24s, this is your first appearance, and I understand NJC, no translation necessary. Is that correct? All right. So again, you're here for your first appearance. You have the right to an attorney. If you have a private attorney, then please tell me that when we call your name. If you'd like the public defender, then I will appoint one to represent you. When we call your name, we will advise you of the charge or charges pending against you. I will determine whether there was probable cause for your arrest and address the conditions of your pretrial release. If I issue a no contact order in your case, then you may not have any contact with the individuals listed directly or indirectly. That means you may not contact those folks in any way, shape, or form, and no one else may contact them for you. If I issue a no weapons order in your case, then you must deliver all firearms to the sheriff as a condition of your release. You have the right to remain silent. Everything you say today will be recorded and may be used against you later. Madam Clerk, everyone has been sworn, right? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. All right, David Bermudez on a violation of state probation for a Whitman Act out of Hendry County. Mr. Bermudez, you're here on a violation of state probation. I've read the paperwork, find probable cause, no bond. Thank you, sir. Jimmy Desir is here on an out-of-county warrant from Polk County for possession of a controlled substance. Mr. Desir, I've read the paperwork, I find probable cause, and there's no bond. Thank you. Michael Jean is here on a violation of county probation with Mr. Carney. All right, good afternoon. Conditions still outstanding?
Correct, they are, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Karimi, any response on Jean?
I have Mr. Stewart here.
Oh, all right. Mr. Stewart?
Hi, Judge. I'm sorry, I didn't hear everything Mr. Carney said. Can you give us synopsis, please?
He has indicated that some of the financial obligations have been paid. And his request is an ROR to allow his client more time to complete the balance of the conditions. Mr. Carney, was that accurate?
Correct.
Yeah, well, Judge, I'll defer to you that he does have a bond, a fairly low bond, and he also has, I think, the more concerning violation was not reported for 2 months.
Well, I agree. That was my thought as well. That's
secondary.
That's the condition 1 violation. So the issuing judge, his presiding judge, has already made a finding of probable cause, set bond at $2,000, and that's the order of the court today. Thank you, Mr. Carney. Gage Smith. Mr. Smith is here on the charge of no valid driver's license. Mr. Smith, did you apply for a public defender? All right, public defender is appointed. I've read the paperwork, find probable cause. Mr. Pershore, do you have any comments on bond? State? Bond in this case is $500. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Jorge Torres. Hit and run from a crash involving injury. Mr. Torres, did you apply for a public defender? All right, I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. I've read the paperwork. I find probable cause. Mr. Pershore, any comments on bond? State?
No comments on this case, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Not on this case.
All right, bond is $7,500. Do you have comments on another case?
Yes, Your Honor. He's got an ROR bench warrant that I think was already served on him when he was arrested for this case out of Lee County. It's Lee County case number 21CT161. He's violating his conditions of pretrial release by committing a new offense. We'd ask the court to revoke that ROR.
Mr. Pershore, anything else from you? All right, the state's motion is granted. 21CT161. Thank you, Mr. Torres.
I sent Andrea the order.
Yep, I've got it. All right, do we have Erica Fitzpatrick?
She's downstairs. We have a friend upstairs from downstairs.
You have, did you say McCrae?
Yes, sir.
All right, Vincent McCrae. Mr. McCrae is charged with assault on a law enforcement officer. Sir, did you apply for a public defender? All right, public defender is appointed. I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Mr. Pershore, any comments on bond? State?
I'm asking for $10,000. I understand it's a first-degree misdemeanor, but he has a significant history of bad Leos and resisting officers without violence. He was just released from prison in October of last year for a battery on law enforcement officer violation of state probation. That's the basis of the case.
All right, bond is $10,000. Additional condition is no possession or consumption of alcohol. Thank you, Mr. McCrae. All right, NJC, I thought that according to my notes, that's it for 24s, but do you have anyone else there? Is that the last person you have in that area? Well, not just 24s, but in that area. That's your last person there? Prudhomme and Galvin. Okay. All right, let's call James Prudhomme, 20MM 861, is here on an order to revoke bond signed by his presiding judge in case number 20MM 861, which would in effect lead to a status of no bond. I'm not sure, Mr. Pershore, what else we have to do today. This is your case.
Yes, my colleague said
All right, you ready to go? All right, Ms. Creamy, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, you tell me when you're ready to. You've already switched over?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we've switched over to the 215 docket, and Mr. Pershore, what is the offer for your client?
the offer of client is adjudicated guilty, time served, court costs plus prosecution costs.
Ms. Creamy, do you agree those are the terms?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there no contact order?
Your Honor, the victim passed away, not as a result.
All right, and based on your review of the allegation, then you believe that offer is appropriate?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Madam Clerk, 90 days to pay on all cases without probation. Sir, what is your name, please? Mr. Prudhomme, did you take an oath with everybody else this afternoon?
Yes.
All right, very good. So you're already under oath. The charge is battery, 20 mm 861. The offer is an adjudication of guilt, court costs, cost of prosecution, public defender costs, and time served. Do you understand that offer? Do you have any questions? Do you want to accept that offer?
Yes, I would like to accept the offer.
All right. Are you pleading guilty or no contest? All right. Did you read and sign a plea form?
Yes, I have.
Do you understand everything that's explained on the plea form?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Yes, sir.
I want to repeat that question now. I'm asking you if you have any of those in your system.
Oh, no, I do not.
Okay, and the reason I asked that question, Mr. Prudhomme, is I just want to make sure you understand everything we're discussing. And do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, battery is an enhanceable crime, which means if you commit this crime again, you may face higher fines, more jail time, and possibly a felony charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Pershore, will you stipulate to venue in the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
I will.
Ms. Karimi, anything further from you?
Your Honor.
Mr. Prudhomme, I will accept your plea, find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered, upon a factual basis and in your best interest, adjudication, all costs, and time served. Thank you, sir, and good luck to you. Accept. I thought they said Galvin. Is this Mr. Galvin?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Galvin, I think, is represented by Mr. Fayette.
All right, I don't see Mr. Fayette, and that may be because he's on the 215 docket. It's only 211. So we had good intentions here, NJC, to finish this room before we switch, but we've got a gentleman here whose attorney's not present because it's not time yet. So we're gonna have to switch over and then come back. Sorry. Okay. And these folks have been sworn too, right? Okay, NJC, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Your Honor, there's just one in here that was not sworn in because he wasn't in the room at the time.
And what's his name?
That gentleman, Michael Black.
Okay, I'll remember that when we call him. Thank you. All right, folks, you all are here for your first appearance. When I call your name, I will advise you of the charge or charges pending against you. I will also determine whether there was probable cause for your arrest. If I issue a no contact order in your case, then you may not have any contact with the individuals listed directly or indirectly. That means you may not contact them in any way, shape, or form, and no one else may contact them for you. There's no translation, right? Okay, good. If I issue a no weapons order in your case, then you must deliver all firearms to the sheriff as a condition of your release. You all do have the right to an attorney. If you have a private attorney, then please tell me that when we call your name. If you'd like the public defender, then I will appoint one to represent you. You also have the right to remain silent. Everything you say today will be recorded and may be used against you later. Erica Fitzpatrick? All right, thank you. And Ms. Fitzpatrick is here on a violation of probation. Ma'am, do you have a lawyer?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Who's that?
Therein, Tyler.
All right, well, Mr. Tyler is not here. Have you actually hired him, or do you simply plan to?
No, I hired him.
On the VOP?
Yes, sir. I'm coming from Perry County and then I'm in Saline County because that's all three of my cases.
All right, well, the reason I'm asking to clarify that is because just because you hire a lawyer on a new charge, for example, possession of a controlled substance, does not necessarily mean that lawyer also represents you on future VOPs. And so I'm wondering whether you actually hired him on the VOPs.
Yes, I did.
All right, well, Mr. Tyler is not present, so do you want to come back tomorrow and see if he'll show up?
I guess, yes, sir.
It's up to you. Your presiding judge has already made a finding of probable cause and set no bond. So I'm either going to, we can proceed without him or try again tomorrow. It's up to you.
I guess proceed without him.
Is that your choice? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right, I've read the paperwork. Again, your presiding judge has already made a finding of probable cause. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, sir.
State, anything from you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, no bond. Thank you, Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you.
Samuel Albanese. All right, Mr. Persure, I would be inclined to appoint your office contingent upon Mr. Albanese's application and qualification, so he has representation. Do you agree to that? All right, the public defender is appointed to represent Mr. Albanese. Again, this is an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Do you want to proceed today or try tomorrow? I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Mr. Persure, do you have any comments on bond? State?
No, Judge, I would request no contact order and no trespass order of victim advocate in our office spoke to the mother in this case, and both mother and victim are in fear and do not want the defendant to return to their home.
All right, anything else on Mr. Albanese?
Judge, he is currently on probation in Collier County for 20 CP 1631. I asked the court to issue with an act as well.
All right, I did sign a no contact order for the two individuals listed and marked as confidential. No trespass at the address listed and marked confidential. I've also signed a no weapons order. Bond on the instant charge is $20,000, and the state's motion for the Whitman Act warrant is granted in 20 CT 1631. Madam Clerk, you good? Yes. Timothy Brennan.
He's in an outside facility, Your Honor.
Did you say in an outside facility?
Yeah, didn't work.
All right, do you have any idea whether he would be able to participate in 24s tomorrow?
I do not know that.
All right. Mr. Persure, same thought. We should appoint your office so that he has representation contingent upon his application qualification. Do you agree to that? All right, public defender is appointed to represent Mr. Brennan. Mr. Persure, would you like to proceed today or try again tomorrow? All right, so this is a return to 24s tomorrow for Mr. Brennan.
Well, Judge, I was going to ask to revoke an ROR. If that makes a difference.
You are going, well, you can make that request. What I'll do is I'll say this is a hold and return to 24s tomorrow. And then you can make your request tomorrow. So he'll be transported back to the jail and he'll be held until 24s. Okay? Willie Butler, violation of state probation.
He's here, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Butler, have you applied for a public defender? All right, public defender is appointed. Mr. Persure, I have read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Do you have any comments on bond? State?
Your Honor, I asked that he be held no bond. It's a violation of state probation.
It is a violation of state probation with no bond. Thank you. Edward Harris? And no idea whether he'd be able to participate tomorrow? All right, this is a DUI and DUI damage to person or property. Mr. Persure, I'd like to appoint your office in the interim contingent upon his application. Do you agree? Public defender is appointed to represent Mr. Harris. Now, Mr. Persure, would you like to proceed today or try again tomorrow? All right, I've read the paperwork. I do find probable cause. Do you have any comments on bond? State?
Your Honor, this should actually be a felony DUI, third within 10 years. He has a prior DUI from 1999, a prior DUI from 2012. I asked the court for a $5,000 bond per count and a silver link as a condition.
Bond on count 1, DUI, 5,000. Count 2, 5,000. Additional conditions: no possession or consumption of alcohol and SoberLink prior to release. Michael Pilecki.
Judge, Mr. Carney gonna stand in for that one?
Yes, looks like it. He is coming forward.
Okay, let me call him.
All right, we'll proceed as soon as we get Mr. Stewart back on the phone here.
I'm back, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Stewart is back. Mr. Pilecki is charged with trafficking in fentanyl, possession of firearm or ammunition by a convicted felon, possession of a controlled substance, 3 counts, and possession of paraphernalia. Mr. Carney.
Just a continuation of the supplemental report filed. The only probable cause argument I have regarding that is it doesn't reference the Suboxone count at all, so we're asking for no probable cause of the Suboxone controlled substance charge.
I agree with that. Based on my review of the supplemental report, Mr. Stewart, they left one out, didn't they?
It appears they did. I'm not going to ask for a third day, so that's fine. I agree.
All right, I agree as well. Okay, but I do find PC on the remaining counts. To be specific, I find PC on count 1, that's the trafficking charge. Count 2, possession of firearm. Count 3, possession of a controlled substance. Count 4, possession of a controlled substance. No PC on count 5, so that will be an ROR. And I do find PC on count 6, paraphernalia. Okay, Mr. Carney, any comments on bond?
Yeah, Judge, it is a local address near several ties. It can make the interpretation of some other failure of yours. The book machine no large amounts of cash.
All right, Mr. Stewart?
Your Honor, the trafficking count is a first-degree felony, punishable by a 3-year minimum mandatory based on the amount of fentanyl. And it does look like he has a pretty substantial record, not just here in Collier County, but out of state as well. Looks like up in New Jersey. So based on that, I'm going to ask for $50,000 on count 1, $20,000 on count 2, which is second-degree felony, and then just $5,000 on the other third-degree felony.
All right, I did sign a no weapons order as an additional condition of his release applicable to all counts. Bond on count 1, the trafficking is $50,000. Bond on count 2 is $10,000. Count 3 is $5,000. Count 4 is $5,000. Again, ROR on count 5 and $2,000 on count 6. Thank you, Mr. Carney. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Charles Tatum. All right, Mr. Perchore, again, I'd like to appoint your office just to make sure he has representation in the meantime. He'll still have to fill out the application. Do you agree with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, public defender is appointed. Do you want to proceed today or try again tomorrow?
We can proceed today.
He's here on a violation of state probation. His presiding judge has already made a finding of probable cause and set no bond. And I believe that completes our 24's docket. Okay, NJC, you've got some folks there though for the 215 docket?
I've got them in another holding room. I gotta clear this room first, so if you can have a couple minutes to clear.
Sure, of course.
Thank you.
Okay. You okay?
Yes.
All right. A little better tomorrow, please. Okay, you started out great this week. Yeah, but is that like?
My wife maybe it means you're not supposed to go.
Yeah. There's no demand there. But does that mean no seat, no luggage, like you're standing in the aisle or
Well, maybe it's like a stand-up seat.
holding onto the
wing or something.
holding onto the wing?
It's Frontier Airlines, which is not that great, but yeah, I'm sure I have to pay for that. That probably doesn't.
Can you report back to us what the final price turns out to be? Exactly. When you pay for your seat and your luggage and all that other stuff.
I just got back. I was out there in January. It's shut down compared to here, but you can do what you want.
Are you going? And is that why you're going?
We're going to ski.
Nice.
But yeah, compared to here, it's definitely they're much more strict.
It's worth the trip. Steve's gonna reduce all the briefcases down to a November deal. And then he's gonna be, adjudicated time served, court costs.
Same on all three?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. All right, thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you raise your right hand, please, and take an oath?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, you can put your hand down. What is your name? All right, Ms. Dable is here in 21 mm 47, possession of paraphernalia with Mr. For Sure.
Yes, Your Honor, if I could just throw a vote.
Of course, go ahead.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the plea offer is adjudicated guilty, which means the court will find you guilty, you can plead no contest. Time served, court costs, cost of prosecution, cost of defense. Would you like to take that plea?
Yes, sir.
All right, adjudication, all cost, time served. Ms. Creamy, do you agree?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Dable, so that is, just to go over it again, I want to make sure you understand what's happening here. It's an adjudication of guilt, which means you'd be convicted of possession of paraphernalia. You would be ordered to pay court costs, cost of prosecution, public defender costs within 90 days, and time served. So there's no additional jail time, no probation. Do you understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions?
I do. This is just for the misdemeanor, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Any other questions?
that's it.
Do you want to accept that offer?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
All right, did you read and sign a plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand everything that's explained on the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. For Sure, will you stipulate to venue in the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Creamy, anything further from you?
Just make sure that she understands she still has her 2 pending felony cases. This doesn't affect those.
Ma'am, you understand you have 2 felony cases that are still pending and this does not affect those cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, she does understand that. All right, I will accept your plea. Find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudication, all costs, and time served. Thank you, Ms. Dable. Good luck to you. All right, good afternoon, sir. What is your name, please? Arthur Lee Toombs. Okay, this is 21 mm 148. Mr. Toombs is here with Mr. For Sure, and the charge against Mr. Toombs is threats to Leos and trespass. Mr. Pursuer.
I don't have the offer. Oh, okay, good.
I can put it on the record if you need.
Yeah, no, I have it in front of me. I apologize. You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So for count one, threat to Leo, it's adjudicated guilty, 120 days in jail, credit for time served, and court costs, cost of prosecution, cost of defense. Says BIC approved. Count two, trespass, adjudicated guilty, time served, no trespass at 711 on 105 Barber Street, Immaculate Court of 34145, court costs, cost of prosecution, cost of defense.
Ms. Karimi, do you agree those are the terms?
Count one was 120 days, 20.
Yes.
Yes, Judge, that's correct. And Ms. Bonilla did speak to the officer on this case, and the officer is in agreement.
How about the individual listed in count two, the trespass? I guess that may be a manager or the owner of that particular store.
Yes, Judge, that would have been the store manager.
How about a no contact with that person? And has that person agreed to the terms?
Well, Judge, because the victim is actually the store, we do not call a business to discuss the offer. I don't have a problem putting a no contact order for that specific person if that's a concern of the court. I don't know if the defense discussed that.
Well, it is a concern because that person is listed. So let me, Mr. Brasher, I'm going to explain this to your client, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Toombs, the offer on count one, that's the threat, is an adjudication of guilt, court costs, cost prosecution, public defender costs, 120 days in jail. You do get credit for all time served. You understand that offer?
Yes, sir.
The offer for count two that you have discussed with your attorney is an adjudication of guilt, composite costs, time served, and no trespass at the 711 105 Carver Street in Immokalee. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I am adding one thing, and that would be no contact with the individual who's listed, and that person is either the owner or the manager of that store. So you cannot have any contact with that person. Now that's an additional thing, Mr. Toombs, and I know you haven't discussed that yet. So I want you to understand you don't have to accept that offer if you don't want to, because I'm adding something. Do you understand that?
I'm not worried about that. I'm hoping to try that when I get out of here.
Okay, so do you still want to accept the offer?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
Yes, no concept.
All right, did you read a plea form?
I read one.
All right, do you understand everything that's explained on it?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, sir.
Mr. Pursuer, will you stipulate to venue in the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Karimi, anything further from you?
Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Toombs, I'll accept your plea. Find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudication on both counts, judgment and sentence as I previously stated. Thank you, sir, and good luck to you.
Yes, sir.
Accept. All right, NJC, we're back to you. I think for Mr. Fayette's client. Who's that, Mr. Fayette? Mr. Galvan, thank you. All right, Mr. Galvan is here on two cases. We've got case 20 CT 1044, reckless driving, 21 274 battery, 2 counts. Mr. Fay.
So Judge, we sent out initially, the notice went out on the battery for a plea by mistake. It's just a plea to the reckless driving case. We have not worked out the battery charge yet.
Okay, thank you for telling me that. So so this is a plea. Let's address the MM then first. So we need to give you another date on the MM.
Judge, can we keep it set for March 11th arraignment? We have not made a filing decision yet.
When you say keep it set, do we already have that date on the books, March 11th for an arraignment?
I think we do, Judge, just because I sent out the notice for the plea incorrectly with the location.
It is set for March 11th.
Are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay, so 21 274, we will leave as previously set March 11th for arraignment. And that leaves us with your second case, 20 CT 1044, reckless driving.
Judge, he's prepared to enter a plea of no contest. He was in diversion at the time that he picked up the battery charge, that bond got revoked. He had completed all the terms. We've just given proof of that to the state. So they've agreed to a withhold adjudication, court cost of prosecution. I'm not sure, Subsina, was there a fine?
There's a minimum $25 fine on reckless driving.
No deal?
Never good with that.
All right, so withhold 25 in costs?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Sir, can you please raise your right hand and face the clerk to be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
What is your name? Mr. Galvin, this is case number 20 CT 1044. The charge is reckless driving. The offer is a withhold of adjudication, $25 fine, court cost of prosecution, and you'll have 90 days to pay. Do you understand that? Do you have any questions? Do you want to accept that offer? Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
No contest.
All right, did you read a plea form? Do you understand everything that's explained on the plea form? Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights? Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a United States citizen? Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication? Mr. Fayette, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms.
Judge, reckless driving is enhanceable.
And reckless driving is an enhanceable crime. If you commit this crime again, you may face higher fines, more jail time. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I need just a minute to finish reading the booking sheet. Ms. Creamy, anything else from you?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Judge, the booking sheet's kind of meandering. It came in as a bat Leo, but there was a car involved.
Is the battery that we just set on the arraignment docket from the same incident?
No.
Just separate.
No, this incident happened at Black Lives Matters march that came towards the courthouse. This came in as bat Leo, but there was a vehicle involved. It came out. There was no bat Leo, but they charged him with reckless driving because he was driving the car that was Leo.
Did you take depots in this case?
Judge, a bystander video came out that showed that they never actually, the officer's report said he struck an officer. When we saw the bystander video, he never struck an officer.
I'm asking only because it sounds fairly egregious when I read the booking sheet.
None of the egregious facts actually came to fruition, and we ended up in diversion on the reckless driving charge based on all of that.
Okay. Ms. Creamy, based on your review of the allegations in this case and any extraneous material, for example, the video that's been referenced, you believe the offer the state's conveyed is appropriate?
Yes, Your Honor, he's been in custody.
Since then?
Days since the date of the arrest of the battery.
Okay.
He was in diversion. All of those facts were settled, Judge, to the point where they offered us diversion on the reckless. So he's been in diversion. He did the community service hours. He did his driving school. We were on the verge of having the case dismissed, and then the battery charge came about.
Okay. All right, Mr. Galvin, I'll accept your plea, find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Withhold 25 plus cost, 90 days to pay. Thank you, sir, and good luck to you. Thank you, Mr. Fay.
Thanks for your time.
And are we going to IJC now? You still good?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Forgot about that. Accept. Hello, IJC, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. We've got a few folks here set on the plea docket, starting with actually, Mr. Miller has 3 cases with Colin Guyadine.
Where do you want me?
Wherever is best for you, that's fine. You can see him.
Should we have just a moment?
Sure.
Hey, Colin, if you enter a no contest plea today, the state is going to amend the 3 cases, misdemeanor cases, from driving on suspended license to no valid DL. On each one, you will be sentenced to time served, court costs, cost of prosecution, okay? And the state is supposed to file a notice of no information on the felony sometime today. You understand? Okay, the court's gonna ask you a series of questions.
All right, Ms. Creamy, do you agree with what Mr. Miller just said?
Yes, Judge. Yes.
And do you have some announcements to make then regarding the charge?
Yes, Judge, for each case, 20 CC 1936, 21 CC 202, and 21 CC 59. The state at this time orally amends the charges to no valid driver's license in violation of Florida Statute 322.03.
All right, and Mr. Miller, will you waive all formalities with respect to the changes?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Madam Clerk, you need a minute on this. You're good, okay. All right, actually, IJC, can we have everybody stand up? We'll swear them all in at the same time, please. Everyone stand up, raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear? Do you swear from the testimony you shall give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Do you swear from the testimony you shall give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, thank you. You may be seated, except Mr. Miller's client. Okay, sir, will you tell me your name, please? All right, and Mr. Guyadine, you've got 3 cases, 20 CT 1936, 21 CT 202, and 21 CT 59. When you came in here this afternoon, your charge in each of those cases was driving on a suspended license. Your attorney, Mr. Miller, has negotiated for you a change in the charge to no valid driver's license in each case. So that's a change in your favor. Do you understand that? All right, so you've got 3 cases, 3 charges of no valid driver's license. The offer in each one is the same. It's an adjudication of guilt, court costs, and costs of prosecution. You'll have 90 days to pay and time served. So no additional jail time, no probation to follow. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that's the same offer in all 3 cases, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Do you want to accept the offer in all 3 cases?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
No contest.
In all 3 cases?
Yes, sir.
Did you read a plea form today?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand everything that's explained on the plea form?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that all of those rights apply to all 3 cases? Pardon me?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that by entering your pleas today, you are waiving those rights in all 3 cases? Do you understand that your pleas will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, sir.
Mr. Miller, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis contained in the discovery material in all 3 cases? All right, Mr. Guyadine, I'll accept your pleas. Find them freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudication in all 3 cases. judgment and sentence as I previously stated. Thank you, sir, and good luck to you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Judge. Thanks, everybody.
Can you scroll down, please? Thank you. Accept all three. All right, Juventino Calmo Gomez.
Juventino Calmo Gomez.
This is Counsel Palma, and I'm calling her now. Hello, is Attorney Palma there, please?
Yes.
Oh, good afternoon. This is Rob Crown calling from the courtroom. We have our prosecutor on the telephone as well. That's Miss Karimi, and your client is Juventino Calmo Gomez. And what would you like to do today?
We had a plea, we can close the case today for both cases.
Can you say that again, please?
We have a plea, we work at a plea with the government, so we are ready to close the case today.
All right. What are the terms?
For the first charge of no driver's license, we have a withhold of adjudication, time served, court cost, and cost of prosecution.
Okay.
And for the second charge of no registration, we have the same term, withhold of adjudication, time served, court cost, and cost of prosecution.
Ms. Karimi, do you agree?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, what is your name, please?
Señor, ¿cuál es su nombre? Juventino Antonio Calmo Gomez.
You have two charges.
Usted tiene dos cargos, señor.
No valid driver's license.
Sin licencia de conducir.
The offer on that charge
En este caso es
is a withhold of adjudication,
sentencia retenida,
court costs and cost of prosecution,
una carta de procesamiento,
and time served.
tiempo.
Count 2 is failure to register a motor vehicle. The offer is a withhold of adjudication, court costs, cost of prosecution, and time served. Do you understand the offer? And you would have 90 days to pay. Do you understand that? Do you have any questions? All right, do you have any questions? All right, do you want to accept the offer? Are you pleading guilty or no contest? Did you read a plea form? Do you understand everything that's explained on it? Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving those rights? Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen? Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication? Do you?
No.
All right. Ms. Palma, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis contained in the discovery material?
I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Karimi, anything further from you?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, I will accept your plea. Find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Withhold on both counts. Judgment and sentence as I previously stated. Thank you, Mr. Calmo Gomez, and good luck to you. This is 21 CT 142. Thank you, Ms. Palma.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good afternoon.
All right, you as well. Bye-bye. Accept. All right, next we have Jose Domingo Aguilar. 20 MM 1229 with Mr. Persure.
Yes, Your Honor, I just might have a moment.
Sure. Okay.
So the state's offer is adjudicated guilty. Time served. Court costs. Court of prosecution. Cost of defense. No contact with victim. In order to pay restitution. Your Honor, if I could just have the clerk explain to the order of restitution is.
Sure.
Are you going to accept that offer? Correct, proceed.
All right, Ms. Creamy, just to make sure I got this, adjudication, cost, time served, no contact, restitution to be determined.
Correct, Judge. We made attempt to execute them and he has not heard back.
All right, sir, what is your name, please? The offer is an adjudication of guilt, court costs, cost of prosecution, public defender costs, time served, no contact with the alleged victim, and I will order restitution and reserve on the amount. That means there's no restitution ordered today, but I may order restitution in the future if the prosecutor determines that some restitution is owed to the victim. Do you understand the offer? Do you have any questions? Do you want to accept the offer? Are you pleading guilty or no contest? All right, I will show that as a no contest plea. Sir, did you read a plea form? Do you understand everything that's explained on it? Do you understand that by entering your plea today, you are waiving all of those rights? Do you understand that your plea will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen? Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication? Battery is an enhanceable crime. If you commit that crime again, you may face higher fines, more jail time, and possibly a felony charge. Do you understand that? Mr. Persure, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis contained in the discovery material? Ms. Creamy, anything further from you? All right, sir, I will accept your plea. Find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest. Adjudication, judgment, and sentence as I previously stated. Thank you, sir, and good luck to you. This is 20 mm 1229. Romero Martinez Domingo. The docket says yes. Let's see, this is with Mr. Persure. Sure. Oh, he has two cases. I did not.
Sir, the state offered you, that's made a plea offer for you. For the resisting obstruction officer without violence. It's a withhold of adjudication. Court costs. Cost of prosecution. Cost of defense. The charge is no valid driver's license. Adjudicated guilty. Time served. Court costs. Cost of prosecution. Cost of defense. Sir, do you want to accept this offer? Proceed.
All right. I confess I missed the offer on the resisting. I know the no valid is adjudication, cost, time served.
Yes, the resisting is withhold for court costs.
And time served? Or not?
So it's-
Okay.
I don't have it down.
So on the resisting, Ms. Creamy, withhold and costs.
Yes, Judge.
All right, sir, what is your name, please?
Romairo Martinez Domingo.
All right, sir, you've got two cases.
Usted tiene dos casos, señor.
Resisting arrest without violence.
Sentencia sin violencia.
The offer is a withhold of adjudication.
Una sentencia retenida.
Court costs, cost of prosecution.
Tribunal gasto de procesamiento.
Public defender costs
Honorario por abogado defensor público.
with 90 days to pay.
90 días para hacer los pagos.
You also have a no valid driver's license.
También manejar sin licencia de conducir.
The offer is an adjudication of guilt.
Sería una sentencia.
Court costs, cost of prosecution.
Honorario gasto de procesamiento.
Public defender costs.
Honorario abogado defensor.
90 days to pay.
90 días para hacer los pagos.
Time served. Do you understand both offers?
De las dos ofertas, señor.
Do you have any questions?
Una pregunta.
Do you want to accept both offers?
¿Aceptará ambas ofertas? Yes.
Are you pleading guilty or no contest?
Culpable, no lo discuto.
In both cases?
En los dos casos.
Are you pleading no?
Declarando los dos casos, señor. Yes.
All right, did you read a plea form?
Leyó las hojas que se le entregaron. Yes.
And do you understand that all of those rights apply to both cases?
Entiende que esos derechos aplican a los dos casos, ¿verdad? Yes.
Do you understand that you're waiving those rights by entering your pleas?
Entiende que usted está renunciando a esos derechos al declararse como está haciendo, ¿verdad? Yes.
Do you understand that your pleas will be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you are not a United States citizen?
Entiende que si no es ciudadano de Estados Unidos, esta declaración de culpabilidad puede ser usada en contra suya en su caso, ¿verdad? Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Bajo el efecto de drogas, alcohol, medicamentos, ¿no? No.
Mr. Persure, will you stipulate to venue in the factual basis contained in the discovery material in both cases? Ms. Karimi, anything else from you? When I read the booking sheet, the first sentence gives an address and talks about a suspect actively breaking in to a residence. Ms. Karimi, have you all investigated that and discussed this with the homeowner? Or what's the status there? That's concerning.
Judge, if I have a minute to review the note.
Okay?
The sheriff's office did not send deeper into the investigation, not treat this as a victim crime.
So based on your review of the allegations in this case and your communication or interaction with the sheriff's office, you believe the two offers are appropriate?
Yes, Judge, I also think he has been in custody for April of last year. I could be wrong.
I don't think so, because the no valid DL was December of last year.
Oh, okay, then yes, Judge, I'm sorry. I didn't realize there was two.
But you believe the offer to be appropriate?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Martinez Domingo, I will accept your pleas.
Señor Martínez Domingo acepta su declaración.
Find them freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in your best interest.
Las sabiendas sobre bases suficientes que proporcionan
On the resisting charge,
la guarda sentencia,
withhold in all costs,
sentencia obtenida y acordada,
no valid DL, adjudication, all costs, and time served. Thank you, sir, and good luck to you.
Gracias y buena suerte, señor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Clerk, any idea why my screen is blue? Kind of strange. It doesn't really matter. Thank you. Great, I'll see you then. Thank you.
I don't think we have anyone lost in custody, Judge. We just have an suspicious case from yesterday.
All right, she's here. Let me just review the JNSs here for these two cases. Accept both. All right, that's it for our in-custody folks. Miss Fish is here on Donald Yo, Y-O-H-E, 20 CT 2382 for a plea in absentia. Good afternoon. And this is a, let's see. We've got DUI over 1.5. Miss Creamy, have you reviewed the plea in absentia paperwork?
Actually, I think I did.
Are you confirming?
I am.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, Judge, I did review this one. I am in agreement.
All right. Ms. Fish, I need to review the booking sheet. While I'm doing that, will you stipulate to venue and the factual basis contained in the discovery material? All right, thank you. Give me just a minute, please. Okay, I will accept his plea, find it freely, voluntarily, knowingly entered upon a factual basis and in his best interest, with the following terms. Madam Clerk, ready to go? Adjudication of guilt, 12 months of probation with no early termination, a fine of $1,000, a 9-month DL revocation, DUI school appropriate phase, substance abuse evaluation, follow all recommendations, no possession or consumption of alcohol, no entering bars, taverns, saloons, pubs, or lounges, no alcohol in his residence, random testing at his own expense, 1 victim impact panel, there's a 6-month ignition interlock device, 50 hours of community service that must be performed, paid off at the rate of $10 an hour or any combination of the two, 10-day vehicle impoundment, court costs, and costs of prosecution. Ms. Fish, anything else?
No.
All right, Ms. Creamy, how about from you?
No, Your Honor.
All right,
We would ask the department to dismiss the 2 traffic tickets.
granted. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. And I believe that's a wrap. Anything, well, I've got to approve the JNS, but otherwise, anything further to come before the court?
No, Judge.
No? All right, we're, pardon?
I said not for me.
Okay, do you want to stick around while I review the JNS? We're still working on that paperwork. Or are you?
Sure, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Fish. Mr. For sure, go ahead.
I have a colleague wants to know if the custody for 8:30
9. I rarely do 8:30. All right, very good. All right. Yes, sir. Have a good afternoon. Miss Creamy and I'll stick around and keep working. Somebody has to. For sure is going. He's going golfing. All right, we'll see you in the morning. Thank you. Are you still doing that, or is that my cue to look at? Okay. Okay. Let's see. I ask because what I've done in the past is I'll say, oh, this doesn't say X, Y, or Z, and the clerk will say, well, I'm not done. Yeah. So I don't want to go too early. Yeah, looks good. Accept. And does that mean I am free to go? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, Madam Clerk, Ms. Creamy, Rich. Excellent work. Excellent work, everybody. Have a great day.
All right, Judge, can you call me in the morning for jail arraignment?
Will do.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.